Good morning, children. Today let us discuss about the conditions for the formation of ionic as well as a covalent bond. The first condition for the formation of an ionic bond is one element should be a metal and second one should be a non-metal. Remember, for the formation of an ionic bond or a compound, one element should be a metal and second should be a non-metal. This is the first point you have to remember. And second point, it is formed between a cation and an anion. An ionic bond is formed between a positive cation is called a positive ion and anion is called a negative ion. So ionic bond is formed between a cation and anion. That is the second point you need to remember. Then the third point is there should be large difference between the ionization potential of metal and non-metal or between the two elements. That's the third point. Then the fourth point is the electro or affinity as well as electronegativity. The difference should be large. And when you summarize the IP, there is ionization potential and electron affinity and electronegativity. All these conditions, the value should be, there should be a big difference between the elements. These are the main points you have to remember for the conditions for an ionic bond. Whereas in case of a covalent bond, the first point is both atoms should have 4 or more electron. In simple language, both should be nonmetals. Second point is their electronegativity should be very high. And the same way, electron affinity, ionization energy, that should be high. And the last point, the electronegativity between the atoms should be either 0 or negligible. These are the main points you have to remember as conditions for formation of a covalent bond. Please copy it in a fair copy and learn by one by one. Okay? Let me move to the next point. Here I have written the main properties of ionic as well as a covalent compound. The first point is they are normally solids. Ionic compounds are normally solids, whereas covalent compounds are liquids or gases. Second point, in second point, their melting point and boiling points are mentioned. In ionic compounds, the melting and boiling points are quite high, whereas in covalent compounds, the melting and boiling points are quite low. That's the second point. I think you can straight away by heart without much difficulty. The third point, they conduct electricity in water. They are bad conductors of electricity in water. That is for covalent compounds. And the fourth point, these are that is ionic compounds are soluble in water, whereas covalent compounds are insoluble in water. And the last point, ionic compounds are insoluble in organic solvents, and covalent compounds are soluble in organic solvents. So I clearly have placed all the important points on the screen. So please seriously by heart all these points. Thank you, children.